And people, I think the problem is most people see because we post checks sometimes, and most people see the results, but they don't know what's behind closed doors.
I'm not posting the checks. I'm broke, baby.
I think for me, I have a bunch of people that I grew up with in the hood. So like my biggest thing when I post, I don't really post for the average person. I post for people that like me,
right?
So I can influence them because most of my friends are either dead or in jail. So it's like those who actually come out. I don't want my bros to keep going back. I want you to know, like, yo, you can make money with no money. You can get involved in real estate too. So for me, it's really all about like influence and troubled youth. Through like financial literacy.
Bro, stop. We gotta save some of this.
You know, tuned into podcast.
But what's going on, everybody? You now tuned into the Power Plays podcast. Welcome back. I'm Gio, also known as Real Estate with Gio.
And I'm V, aka Miss V the Realtor.
And today we have two special guests. We're going to let them introduce themselves to y'all. Some of y'all may have seen them on Instagram. Some of y'all might have seen them out here in these streets getting these deals done.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is Tiki, 22-year-old entrepreneur from Cameroon, West Africa.
Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jimmy. Some people know me as Ezel or Akport Think Rich on Instagram.
Okay.
So I thought it was important to have them on. Like, I've met these guys a couple years ago, and they've just been like inspiration for me even before I got into real estate. Like, I met Jimmy, and he was doing the damn thing, and I'm like, wait,
what was they doing?
It's possible. Oh, they gonna tell you?
Let us know. I'm like, inspiration. We need that.
No, like for real. Like when I met Jimmy, it was like, oh, I just started this. He hit the ground running, and like they haven't stopped since. So tell me, guys, how did you get started? What do you do? Like, what do you do?
What don't we do? That's the question. Okay. In regards to how we got started into real estate, see, I've always been into investments. I always like to buy and sell things. But it was one day where I was supposed to go to Carabana in Toronto, and I lost my passport, and I didn't have the money to go renew the passport. However, my brother, he was like, yo, I see you can make money with no money. I'm like, man, that's a scam. Like, keep it moving.
Typical stuff.
That's a scam. I'm like, yo, that's a scam. Keep it moving. But there's always a part of me that would go back and go do some more research. So I went to go do the research. I'm like, this might be interesting. And just with that being said, I mastered the art of actually knowing how to make money with no money. And, then we just partnered up and just kept it moving. But I guess you can speak on that.
Just to kind of piggyback on that, right? I think the day when he lost his passport, it was all hell's broke loose in the house because dude, he really was looking to that Canada trip. So when he couldn't go, and I'm just on the couch, like, you know what, I'm on my phone. But guess what, though? I found something cool. We can actually buy houses without any money. But me personally, I didn't go back and do more research. I just kind of came across it, kept it moving. Like, I might come across this again. Then after that, he did some more research. I think he went to a seminar or something like that.
Yeah.
Try to pay for a course at that seminar. I guess you could tell him how it went.
Oh, yeah. So Damon John from Shark Tank was coming in town.
Okay.
Right. So Damon John, I'm like, I love businesses. I love to invest in business, but I wanted to see because it was a free seminar. So, maybe God just didn't want me to go to Toronto. So I went to the seminar, and they were talking about businesses, and then at the end of it, they were talking about real estate. This is interesting. But they were showing the samples of other people making money with no money, but they weren't telling you
how to do it, right?
So I figured, okay, maybe it might have to be a price with this information. So as time went on, I actually figured out what they were doing, and they were like, okay, usually our course is $10,000, but today it's $1,000, and you have 3 days to cancel. However, today is the only opportunity. So I said, okay, well, so I went with my homegirl. So I said, I don't have the money on me, but if you pay for it, I know I'm gonna pay you back. Like that's no issue. So she went ahead and just had faith in me, and then she paid for it. And I went home, and I was up for like 48 hours. I was like, yeah, cancel that. I figured it out. And then within like 2
Wow.
weeks, and then like within like 2 weeks, I went ahead and got my first deal, and I made 20 grand. And ever since then, I just got addicted.
But like, what do you do?
Well, when it comes to real estate, the technical term is called wholesaling.
Okay.
So we do wholesaling. We do, we buy and like rent out as well. So we have a lot of rentals, and we flip here every now and then, but majority of our, business is wholesaling.
Okay.
Before we go any further, you said you made 20,000 at first.
Yeah,
20,000.
Yeah,
You can't skip past that.
I made 20 grand in like 2 weeks, and it was like, oh, okay. And then I called my brother because he was working. Right, I'm like, yo, I think I figured this out. Right, and this was like junior year of college. I was going to University of Maryland, and around that time, I was just doing it for fun. I never really worked anywhere before. So for me, it was like a hustle because when I make the money, I make 10, I go spend 10. It was just it like, but I think when it came down to it, my senior year. Most people don't really know this actual story, but when it came down to it, my senior year, I used to hire people to take classes and like take notes for me so I can close deals because I was addicted to it. So like it's like just to like take notes and just and just to like take classes but the test, the like last day when I was really supposed to take one test, the teacher switched it. So the person who was actually supposed to take my test couldn't because the answers were just different. So I ended up failing that class by like 3 points, and then I went to the professor and I asked the professor, "Look, man, I'm about to graduate. Can you give me my 3 points? Like it's just 3 points." And the professor said no, but at that point I was already clearing her salary, so it was like, you know what, you can have those 3 points. I'm gonna just not go back to school and just run this thing as a business. And my plan anyway was to work with my brother regardless. So I said, you know what, you go work so we can have some type of money coming in. Then I'm going to be on the sideline figuring it out. And within 3 to like 6 months, I called him. I said, yo, I'm already clearing your salary in a month, so you might as well just quit. And then he bought rental, and then he quit. And we just built the business from there.
Gio, can you clear my salary so I can quit? Like,
so that's...
What? That is crazy.
Wait, you cleared his salary in 1 month?
Yeah, it was.
I was about to say, V. I mean, if we work on like 4-month increments, I could probably.
Okay.
Because there was no way that I was going to be out, doing business, and my brother is still working for anybody. It just didn't make any sense, So for me, it was the lack of sleep. It was also I had to cut off the people around me that weren't in the vision as me, and I had to make it work because it was bigger than me at that point.
You saying something right now that I've been thinking about all week. I've been contemplating it all week, right? I was watching some like clip on Instagram, everybody on there now. And it was another podcast I was watching, and the guy asked the title of the video was it was relationship or mortgage or something like that. Relationship or real estate, matter of fact. And the guy was talking about how his vision, changed after a while. He bought a house and he was paying a mortgage. He had like 5 extra bedrooms, just him and his girlfriend. And he was like, I want to rent these rooms. His girlfriend was like, no, she didn't have that vision. So he was like, he had to let her go so that he can, bring his vision into fruition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people saying that now, and they hear somebody who's successful saying that. Puts me like,
actually putting what you're saying to practice.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with. So for me, it's really important that everybody around me is either going towards my purpose or my vision. And if not, it just is what it is.
So I have a question. We'll get into wholesaling a little later, but in terms of like partnership, because me and Gio are partners, but you guys, how did you form that, I guess, partnership, and how does that work? Like, what does the dynamics look like?
As far as partnership, I just think it comes down to, knowing what your strengths are and also knowing what you're not good at, and not try to do the things that you're not good at per se.
Yeah.
I know between me and my brother, there are certain things that I'm good at where when I see him try to do it, I'm like, you're slow as hell. But it's like then at the same time, like vice versa, there are certain things that, he's good at that I'm not necessarily good at, that if I try to do, I won't do it as well. Not saying I can't do it. I just know what I'm at my peak performance level when I'm doing it.
And
so
you won't be efficient.
Yeah, you really won't be efficient and you won't be effective. So as far as partnership, just knowing how each other operates, what you lack and what the other person brings to the table. And most importantly, respect. It's like, it won't work if you guys don't respect each other, and it won't work if you guys don't see that end goal together. You know, one person can't have their eyes on the end goal and the other person is just cruising along.
And I think that's super
That's how
important.
partnerships break
that's
up.
That's very, very important. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times, like, if you don't have a similar goal, like somebody's doing one thing, the other person's doing another thing, and you're not being effective in reaching your goals. And I think me and Gio discussed that a lot.
Yeah, we talked about this the
Yeah.
other day. Like, literally, like.
Yeah, you know, you have to put the pen to the paper and plan. You know, like for me, like I know he knows that I can't do simple things, but I can do the most complicated things, right? So, and I hate like operations because if you give me an idea, if you tell me, "Yo, we need to make $1 million," I'm hitting the ground running right now. But I know for a fact that if we need to make $1 million, he wants to sit down and brainstorm.
Right.
You know,
and that's
not me.
literally us. Like, because I think we discussed, yeah, me and you talked, and you're like, yeah, I'm like the visionary.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
like
yeah.
systems. And I'm like, literally, that's him and I.
I'm trying to get out of
To a
here.
T. Like,
You
to
hear
a
that
T.
you hear that term tossed around a lot. You know, I think a lot of people, you know, mainly get that term from Traction.
Yeah.
You know, visionary integrator. But at the end of the day, it's really knowing, you know, what you're good at and what you know you can do to the best of your abilities, and not really, you know, give it 50% for the most part. So, I mean, we know that about each other. I know if he'll bring 10 ideas to me a day and I'll just listen to him. I'm like, yo, that shit doesn't make no sense. Scratch that. That one probably has potential. Write that down in your idea book. We'll revisit that in 5 months from now, right?
Yeah.
It's just knowing how to put those pieces together and when it's the right time to get those pieces going.
just
That's
need-
super important.
And you also need somebody to let you know when you're doing too much. Because I think we essentially, like for me, if I see like right now, if I see that it makes money, I want to put my money in it, right? But he's like, bro, we're already focusing on 3, 4, 5 different things. Why would you go put your energy there? Like you're not focusing on your 20%. Now you're just like expanding
Right.
your horizon to places that you don't even have no business being in.
Yeah.
Right. So you know you
That's how
have to have
lose- that's how
somebody
you
that
lose
can
money
tell you
real
that.
quick.
Basically, keep you grounded.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think the like last thing, the partnership is mainly core values. You know, like you got to have somebody that believes in it, you know, or is at least similar to you when it comes to that.
100%.
Definitely agree. Gio, what do you bring to this partnership?
Yeah, who's the visionary and who's the integrator between both of you?
No. Okay, like, I feel like, what'd you say?
I said I'm definitely the visionary. I don't think I'm playing.
You gotta have a Bill Gates and you gotta have a Paul Allen.
Yeah.
I
somewhere.
don't know. So I think we kind of both are visionaries, but for me, it's super important to have systems because I don't operate like that. Like, I don't just operate like, okay, we're going to do it with no plan. Like, I need to know what we're doing.
She's a planner.
When we're like, because it just needs to make sense to me.
I'm like,
I'm
look,
on no GPS.
I know I can do it,
Right,
so
right.
we're gonna do
Yeah.
it. Like I don't even care about none of that.
See,
We gonna
see,
figure it
V,
out.
me and you
Yeah,
were alike
no,
because
literally.
we take time and we survey the playing field and see
Exactly.
where we can get a loophole.
Exactly,
They
'cause I'm like-
just want to go.
Right. And I'm like, if I'm
One
going to do
there.
something, I want to do it to the best of my ability. And I know myself, if I don't know something, I'm not going to do it well.
Okay.
This guy is like, V,
forward.
we got to close 100 deals. And I'm like, okay.
We gonna
How?
try.
Like,
When I say we gonna shoot, I don't care how many times I miss. I don't care how many times the ball come back to me or how many times it don't. We go get another ball and keep shooting again. Like
I mean, you
Right.
just have to be persistent, though.
Right.
I mean,
And
that's
that's what it comes
super
down to.
important with entrepreneurship. I mean, persistence is key. You can't be easily, you can't be easily discouraged. You know, you have to have that willpower and fight for something bigger than you.
and that's
You know,
what, and that's the
quite
thing
honestly.
too, because like in our area, like it's saturated. I don't know,
sure.
like this wholesaling phenomenon just came all of a sudden. Everybody wants to be a wholesaler,
I blame all.
estate investor.
I
Like,
blame all the course sellers.
like
That are really not doing no deals.
exactly.
We're not gonna speak on it.
And it's just like all these people. And it's so how do you guys like keep yourselves motivated? How do you stand out in a saturated market? Because, you know, Gio and I were talking about this. Like, there are a lot of top producing agents, and us being, quote, top producing agents. And there are other agents who are doing
Who
business.
are actually doing it.
Right. So it's like for us being a new group, how do we get into that? You know, what will set us apart?
I think for me, like I handle the marketing of the business. So when it comes down to standing out, I'm trying to go. So I would do what everybody is doing, but I really want to act as if, you know. So I would play a competitor to. No, I would play a client to my competitors so I can see what they're doing, right? And then I could tweak what they're doing and see where they lack. And then I just implement that with on my side. And that's how we stand out. And also, I think part of, standing out is you got to solve the issue of the client. Most people just looking at the numbers. For like we do deals and don't make no money because we want to make sure that the referral can go a long way. And we also do deals where it's like, it doesn't make any sense, but we don't want the other person to go take advantage of that client. So for us, one, we spend money on marketing. There's no debate, right? But we spend the least money, but it's more effective, and we're doing things that most people aren't doing because everybody wants to call the seller and do everything else. We try to hit the sellers from all different angles. Yeah. Even if they spoke to us in January and they weren't interested, they'll hear back from us in 2023. 100%. They're not getting loose.
Once you in the hook, you in the hook.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
Effective marketing, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think another part of your question, V, was, how do we stay motivated?
Yeah.
And how do we keep going? I think biggest thing is, forming the right habits to start out. I think finding a routine that you can stick to consistently. Because just doing that consistently just not only reinforces the belief in you that you can do, what you put your mind to, but it also just makes things more real, man. Like, at one point, I struggled. I think me and him, we have to keep ourselves accountable. Like, yo, you got to hit the gym 5 times a week this week.
I see you in the gym, and I'm like, shit.
So it's like,
you do that, and you be there early.
Yeah, it's like I wake up at 5:30 every day, and he tells me, if you wake up before me, call me, right? Okay. And then he's downstairs, and I call him like, yo, wake up. We got to get to work, right? And it's just waking up at 5:30 every morning and just getting the day started. And by the time you realize it, do that all year, you've gotten more work hours in than most people do the whole year by just waking up early.
I'm calling you at
5:30. Our bodies don't wake up to alarms. My body wakes up at 4:45 or 5. But the good thing with partnership is that if he wakes up before me, I feel like I'm losing, so I'm always competing with him.
Wow.
If I hear footsteps, I'm already getting ready to get out the door. Because I don't want him to beat me to the gym because he's going to talk about it later. So somebody was just snoring today.
I mean, it's the competitive edge, though. It's like you have to keep each other accountable. I talk shit a lot. I mean, personally to him, we both run 2 different departments in the company, right? He runs acquisitions, I run dispositions and transactions. When we don't have properties to sell, my guys are bored. So I'm looking at them like, yo, your guys got to fucking get some contracts. Right. That's the type of verbiage we're using because you got to fuel the fire. We got to put some deals on the board, to close more deals. So
and then when this side is overwhelmed with our deals, it's like, yo, what the hell are y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah. If we're not selling the properties quick enough, it's a problem. But when we don't have properties, he's not gonna stop hearing from me because it's like me doing that to his team, even though I'm not their leader, it lets them know that there's another side of the company that depends on you guys to perform. So
speaking of your guys and your company, right? Give us the name of your company. Give us, how many years you've been in business.
So the parent company itself is Different Streams. I think he started that because, coming out of college, we were looking at different streams of income. So when we became partners, we kept that main company name. On his department, they go by a different name, right? That's the kind of like Google's owned by Alphabet. They have a brand name. And on my department, we have a brand name as well, right? And that side is Equity Pro Deals. If you need a house, you want to buy a house, you can visit our website, right? You can hit us up. And his department, I'll let him talk.
Yeah, so the overall company's name is Federal Cash Buyers. We just buy properties with cash. But essentially, it just depends on what state we're doing business in. It just depends. We just create multiple LLCs depending on the state. But the overall company name is Federal Cash Buyers.
So, I have a question. How did you guys scale your business? You went from just you two, and now you guys have an office space. You have employees. You have virtual employees. How did you?
Well, I think as you're doing business, the goal is not to work in it, but work on it. So as time goes on, it's like within my fair share of doing business, I was taking the money and blowing it, right? So I wasn't thinking more on a business level because I was already in college. I didn't really need much, right? And that was money to me, So essentially now you look at, when you're making money, you wanna employ people to make more money because teamwork make the dream work, And most people get stuck in the thing where I want to do all this thing by myself, but you really can't do everything by yourself. It's just not gonna work out. So when it comes to the scalability thing, it's just I want to focus on my 20%. So I'm working on focusing on 20% and everything outside of my 20%, which is just thinking, I'm just hiring for it. So, that's how we typically scale, is just hire for the positions that take up most of our time.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys said you do wholesaling. Can you explain like what that is and how do you make money wholesaling?
Because we hear a lot of people talk about wholesaling.
Right.
Yeah. Like you said, a lot of them people aren't doing deals, right? Mm-hmm. They post this, they show this, they make a video doing this, but none of it really equals out into anything, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. In regards to wholesaling, so wholesaling there's different parts about wholesaling, right? So there's some people that are just bird dogs, which are just finding deals for, your average investor. And there's some people that actually negotiate the property and they sell the property for a much higher price to somebody else that's willing to take on the risk. So essentially you're a deal finder on the off market side. So everybody's going to be your competitor. I think when it comes to real estate, the most important thing is the deal. Right. So you're essentially just finding deals and you're negotiating the deals and you're getting paid to negotiate. Right. And you're selling your rights to that property rather than the property. So that's really what wholesaling is.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of real estate agents don't like wholesalers.
But I think it just comes down to understanding, though. Because, I speak to a lot of those people, and my guys speak to a lot of those people. A lot of times it just comes down to explaining it, because majority of the time they don't know how they're going to get paid in that type of transaction. But when you explain to them how they're going to get paid, it rings a light bulb. Like, okay, damn, I could do this more.
Right.
Just especially having that clientele of investors that want to buy properties and just needing that spark to know how you can serve them. Because I think by agents not liking it, they're still doing a disservice to their client because they're cutting off another aspect.
Right.
So
you just got to be open.
Properties,
Yeah, 100%.
We don't like to compete. We like to collab.
And literally, that's what he says all the time.
That's my thing, bro. No agent, no wholesaler, no mortgage broker, no inspector. Nobody is my competition. Nobody's our competition.
Yeah.
We are all allies. We can all be assets to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just is what it is. But most people just want to act like they're the best out of the bunch. And cool, you get ate up.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You're the best out of the bunch, but what happens when the bunch turns on you?
Exactly.
Because you don't want to be a part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for us, when it comes down to agents, most of the time agents are like, wow, you guys are making a lot of money on this deal. And we're like, yo, how much do you want to make? All right, so if we make this deal happen, how many times can you come buy back from us? Right, so that way, we're not the only ones just making money. We're all making money together. So I think most most agents don't reach out and suggest something to just walk away.
Yeah, that's true.
And also the part as to why agents don't like a lot of wholesalers is because most wholesalers really don't have the contract to that deal. They're probably partnering up with somebody else. Right. For us,
daisy chains.
For us, we don't do no JVs because most wholesalers don't have the contract.
You said JVs.
Yeah, like joint ventures.
Okay.
So in other words, we want partnering up with somebody to close the deal.
Right.
Until we see that contract, we're not doing it. For us, we would show the agent this is the actual contract. We got this thing signed and it's recorded at the courthouse. And this is just what it is. But most people want to partner up with somebody else and then they're raising the numbers. And this person's selling it for 100, that person's selling it for 150. So who really has the deal?
Right.
Right.
So with these other wholesalers in the market, like I mentioned earlier, it's pretty saturated. How do you set yourselves apart in a sense to when you're talking to a client, one person comes and oh yeah, I can get you this for your house. How do you guys calculate things? What does that look like?
I think the biggest thing about, because I handle acquisitions, so the biggest thing about speaking to clients is you really got to be solution oriented. So, for me, when I first started, real estate, I interviewed a bunch of investors and interviewed other people to figure out what they struggled with. And I interviewed the investors to figure out what they don't like about the people that they're buying from. And I mastered that, right? So most of the complaint was most people don't know the value of the asset. So I mainly just studied how to value the property. So, so I can stand out. Right. So now when I'm speaking to sellers, I can't just tell the seller, look, I'll pay $1 million when it's worth $500,000. I tell you, look, all I got is $500,000 for this property. It's either going to be a yay or nay, and we just keep it moving. So I think when I'm speaking to clients, I'm hearing about other competitors that, hey, this person locked up this deal and they couldn't close, or this particular person offered me a lowball offer. And for us, we specialize in seller financing. So we can give the seller what they want, even though it doesn't make sense, right? And everybody else just knows cash.
Yeah, no, we definitely, if we see a deal, y'all bought a house for $7,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so we can structure deals creatively. So that's how we're able to do more deals, because we're not just focused on cash. For us,
Cash isn't always going to make sense.
Like for us, it's cash flow. If it doesn't work for cash, we'll pick it up as a rental.
So let's take a step back, right? Because when we talk about wholesaling, right, most people's idea of wholesaling is just basically, I guess the cookie cutter. You go in, you say, I have a buyer who wants to buy your house for this, right? Mm-hmm. You go back to the buyer or the buyer, you say, I got a deal for $120. You ready? Like, do you want to buy it? Mm-hmm. But you're talking about seller financing, and if it doesn't make sense in cash, we'll get it on a rental. Exactly. Like, what exactly does that mean for wholesaling, right? Because I don't think anyone is outside of us.
Right. Because it's like that creative financing part of it, and it's like,
I would say don't try this at home unless you know what you're doing. Honestly, really, you would end up in court. Don't try it at home.
Thing like that.
Don't try it at home.
Yeah.
No, like there's no like he was actually being serious, because we're actually in a lawsuit for just one property.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we're still going to beat it, because we've been doing it for a long time. It's just a deal went wrong. Mm-hmm. Right. So these are the things that come with like business. Like, you want to take the risky end by doing creative financing, but when things come out, what are you going to do?
It's like having, like V, you say, having those, processes and resources in place, for when things go south, right? So I'll say, like you said, what does this mean for a wholesaler? One, don't try this at home, right? Don't try this at home unless you've taken the time out to properly educate yourself and know the ins and outs of it. Like, if I get myself into a hole, how do I get out of it? What counsel do I need to seek?
Am I going to quit?
To be able to get out of it, right? So it sounds good. It sounds good to be able to buy a property for $7,000, but buying a property the right way for $7,000, that's a lot of things that people don't know.
And it sounds like you guys, like, before you do something, you kind of reverse engineer the situation.
Yeah.
And that's very smart, because I think a lot of people, they just go in like, oh, I can do this, do this, but it's like, no, are you thinking about how wrong it could go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you have a solution for that problem.
Got to map it out.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, also when it comes down, like you said, you go find the buyer. We have a lot of private money, so we have a lot of rich people that don't know what to do with their money, so we're able to give them a return on their money by
closing on. How did you find them?
We go golfing. I travel a lot.
Network.
We travel a lot.
Okay.
Network. Just strike up a conversation.
So we pretty much study where most rich people hang out at, and that's the golf courses.
So smart.
Right. So
I told you this, Gio.
We just never really
deals are made on the golf course.
We just never even had an interest in playing golf. So we started golfing, and we started asking people like, yo, what do you do? And mind you, we're like there at like 2 p.m. on a Monday. So most people there are like retired.
Right.
So we're just having a conversation, you know what I mean? And like for us, we want to just network with those type of people, because they got the money just sitting down there.
Right.
So most of the time when we're doing any type of business, we're not using our money at all.
And like not only rich people as well, man, because
doctors,
you have people with regular W-2 jobs that have 401ks, IRA accounts, and they really don't know how to make that money, make more money for them. That's where we step in, because all we do, we breathe and sleep real estate. So we're studying ways to help other people make money on their money. So,
and it's more pressure.
Family members, anybody, if you have a significant amount of money that we'll consider to take in, we'll show you how you can make money on that money, and we'll go to work.
And this is another thing I want to mention, that 401k aspect.
Yeah.
Last week, I was thinking about introducing a new, I guess you call her a mortgage broker, to V and to our group, and just using them. So I threw them one of my prospective clients, and the processor that they used asked my client, why did she submit her 401k information? Now, being in real estate, we know that if you have a 401k with any money in it, you are eligible to use that money to buy a home. It doesn't matter if you're 18, 19, 20, you can use it tax-free. Is just a loan from your 401k. And this person didn't know that. So like you just said, just to piggyback on everything you just said, if you are not studying, if you are not paying attention, if you're not willing to take an hour out of your day to read that book and really understand what's going on in that book, do not try this at home.
Don't
Even
try
being
it
an
at home.
agent.
Sure.
Even
Don't
being
try
an
it at home.
agent. Because when you're an agent, you better believe them lawyers need to be paid. If
For
not,
sure.
you can and they will come and get you.
And I mean, even outside of that, like you want to work with someone that's knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Like that's just really what it comes down to. Like the
At the
person
end
that
of
can
the
speak
day.
the best and makes it the most understandable, it's most likely gonna get that deal.
I think a lot of people skip over that too, though, V, because if I know somebody that can guide me the right way to avoid making mistakes, trust me, I'm going to pay that person all
Right.
day. Because it's going to save me so much more headache down the line than trying to figure it out myself.
And that was a problem
Right.
with us. Like we thought we can do everything by ourselves.
For sure.
And it was one year where we just plateaued. Like we made 6 figures one year, and then we only survived off of $30K the next year, just us two. And it was like, damn, like we really could have just invested in a mentor or somebody that's already been down this like drain, and we can just have. And when we invested in a mentor, the mentor only told us one thing: get an office. We were just working out over our basement.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he said get office and
Still get those
then
pictures.
hire people, and like you got 2 weeks to hire people, and after those 2 weeks, the next month we made 6 figures that month.
But it's like he told you to hire, but y'all ain't had no money.
No, like essentially he's like figure it out.
That's the thing, though, V. It's like you don't need money. Right? You don't need money.
I guess that
Like,
motivates you.
I'll be honest. You really
we were,
don't need
pitching
money.
to like people to
You
give
really
us
don't
bread.
need money.
Right.
Like, because we were under pressure. All the mentor said was like, you guys already know what to do with real estate, but you're not running it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, yo, you guys got 2 weeks to find an office. You guys got 2 weeks to hire people.
Keep in mind, finding an office as a small business just starting out.
It's not
Right.
the easy.
It's not
Virtually
the
impossible.
it's not the
Because,
easiest thing to do because nobody is gonna let you rent their space.
Right.
Exactly.
Because
You got turned down.
Business credit.
right?
You don't have none of that. So
Right.
we sat down. We're like, yo, what's the fastest way to get this? What we want? We just started networking, right? And we found an investor. Luckily, dude saw me on Facebook again, creative financing. He saw a deal that we had, and it was just so interesting to him because he'd never seen nothing like it on his Facebook. He reached out to me, and me and him started talking. And he said, yeah, man, I don't really want to buy the house. I'm just very interested about how you guys got the property. Can you come by my office? Right? So I told him, he's like, yeah, you go take care of it. So I met with him the first time on my own. Then the second time when I got to fill him out, I went back to him like, yo, look, we could probably get this guy to fund our office. You know what I'm saying? So
wow.
we go back to his office. We set up another meeting. We meet with him. Just started telling him what we do. He tried to quiz us on the spot, right? Like we was
Easy money.
some rookies. Easy money. Blew him out the park. like blew him out the park. And after that, like literally, I think I made an Instagram video that day when we secured the funding. And we told him, look, this is what we need right now. We need an office space. We have a plan. We can get staff. We know how to get those. We just need an office space and we need somebody to sign off on it. And dude was like, you know what? Let me ask the property manager in this location if they have any spaces, and I'll let you know. Literally a week later, the dude called us back to his office like, yo, do y'all like this spot?
And I've been to your office. It's nice.
That's literally how we got the office. But we found the people that
You want to know what that quiz was? It was, I told him, I said, yo, I can run, because he takes an hour to value an asset. I said, yo, I can value the asset in about 2 minutes. He's like, how? He said, I was like, give me the last property address that you bought. And I ran the comps to that property, and I told him that I'll pay this to this and I'll pay this to that. He was like, okay, here's the check. Literally, it was just mainly just specializing in valuing the asset. I can eyeball things because I know certain areas. Like I know how, I know the percentage as to which is going to go up to, and the percentage at which is not going to go up to. And that particular thing, he didn't even need to look at our bank account. We told him like, yo, we made 6 figures last year, but we blew it. And this year, and we were also mixing our personal with business. So we really, was not really
blew the bag,
like money. So he understood that, but the real thing that made him really believe in us and invest into our company and into that office. Even now, he's even giving us more money to do more projects. It's just the fact that 1, we were determined, and 2, we just didn't give up.
And we knew our stuff, man.
That's
you
what
can't
it is,
show up
literally.
unprepared.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like if he quizzed him at that point and he didn't pass the test to his liking, who knows?
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't have been where we are right now. So being prepared, never thinking you know everything and just expecting the unexpected.
You got to be willing to learn, and you can't you can't force the fact that, yo, I know everything. I don't know.
You don't know everything.
Yeah.
You definitely don't know everything.
So what does like studying look like for you guys? Like, what do you read? What can you like suggest for people that are trying to, I don't want to say get on your level, but you know, kind of get their feet wet. Yeah.
It's a lot of gems.
Start with
Go
like
ahead.
my mind. I think one, you gotta have a budget. You know, you gotta know your budget. You can't make 1,000 and spend 15 a month, right? You gotta know your budget. Then you gotta align your goals with your budget. So first budget, then it comes to goals, and then you gotta weed out the people that are distracting you from that, right? So in regards to that, as to what we read and stuff, for us, morning routines are really important. Wake up at 5 every day, and we gotta read, and then we gotta hit the gym, and then go back to the office and read again. Right, so for us, we're competing right now as to who can read the most books, but he's beating me right now, for now, you know. But it just comes down to it. So I think for like beginners, bro, start with Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That was a good book.
That was a
really
book.
good
I still
book.
had the audio book.
Yeah, and
Rich
that
Dad,
was really
Poor
good.
Dad. You can't go wrong with that one.
Yeah,
I think biggest thing in terms of like, you know, elevating yourself is just getting a consistent routine to follow. I mean, I'm real big on habits. You know, if you get 1% better every day, you actually end up being 37% better that year.
Right.
You know, so it's like finding that thing to get 1% better at, whether it's your budget, whether it's, you know, your eating habits, your daily habits. And in terms of books, I mean, you don't have to read anything motivational. Just read.
yes,
You know, just get in the habit of reading. You know, because the more you do it, the more you start liking it. Then your curiosity just starts to
Right.
peak. Like, yo, what else can I learn? Like, I'm reading faster. I'm retaining more information. Like, you just notice a difference in yourself.
it's
you know?
it's the like little things that affect you. Like for me, I tell my friends, don't text me in slang because you're gonna ruin my dialect. Because I'm going to respond.
Okay.
You know, like,
Mr. Bougie over here.
it's like actually real because like if I start speaking in a lot of slang when I'm speaking to people that I need money from,
Right.
that's going to come out. You know, and you know people are going to adapt to who they're communicating with. So I only ask my close friends. I don't care who randomly texts me, but those who are my like close friends, like yo, please, like let's speak proper because I'm speaking to a lot of people who are way older than me and they're not even like us.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like-
they're already
So-
on, that you already at a disadvantage
Yes,
that
yeah.
way.
Even when I go
sure.
around them, I take off my earrings and I take off everything else. I'm just
Bro,
suited
I
up.
wear long sleeves.
It sucks that, you know, you have to conduct yourself in that manner, but
Right.
at the end of the day, like that's the real world. Like
just is what it
you're
is,
gonna
so-
get judged whether you like it or not. You know, you might as well play their game against them and make them. A good book about that is 50 Cent's book.
Yeah,
For real.
yeah,
Hustle harder.
It teaches you,
Such a
you know,
good book.
That's a good book.
that's a
Hustle
great
harder.
book. Hustle harder,
Man.
hustle smarter.
Good.
Great book. You know, great book. It teaches you how to use all
You
that to your
recommended that
advantage.
shit,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
And I would read that twice again. It
Hey.
was
Listen in the
so
car.
good.
I would listen to that audiobook any
Yes.
day.
That's actually what I got. The
Audiobook,
So,
right?
like,
Hey,
Good.
whatever.
driving and listening to it.
Yeah.
Like, you'll pick up so many gems just off of audiobooks. Like now, I'm not even listening to music as much as I used to. Like
That's a good habit change too, man.
Yeah.
You know, you just cut out the toxic stuff, you know, because the music is not really, you know, getting you nowhere.
They're already
They're all
getting paid.
talking about the same
Right,
thing.
right,
They're already
right.
getting paid.
They're already getting paid. I'm
You know?
trying to, you know, but
So I have a question. You guys work really, really hard, but at what point, you might have already answered this, but at what point do you see success? Like what point are you like, all right, you know what? I made it.
for me, my mom is not retired yet.
Okay.
So
that's a
not-
goal.
So even if I make $1 million, if my mom still has to go to work, it's not $1 million to me. We still got work
I
to
work
do.
to do.
You know, so it's mainly the people around me. Like my closest friends aren't comfortable. My closest people that I speak to complain about what they have going on. So for me, if I can't solve those issues, my issues haven't been solved yet. So success is you know is right there, but you know at first I got to start with my mom.
Facts. Family first.
That's really what it is.
I think same thing, like piggybacking on, you know, my brother, coming down to family, you know. I don't really feel like I think it's all a mindset, what you think success is. Different people place different values on different things. I think for me, mainly it's my family, my mom, pops, you know, making sure they're not working no more. And most importantly, being able to control the 4 W's in my life, right? That's who I get to do things with, when I get to do those things, what I get to do, and where I get to do it at,
Yeah.
right? Once I'm able to control all 4 of those things, I can really, because money is not really going to define success because the more you get, the more you want. So it just really has to be, you know,
like,
your time, your freedom,
with,
valuing more than just money and materialistic things, you know, because it's a lot of successful people that's killed themselves.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And also our employees, you know, like the people that like work for us, like we're spending time trying to solve their goals, you know. So if their goals are not solved, then we're just selfish CEOs, you know. So for us, you know, success comes from when I can fly my, you know, one of my head guy out to a country he's never been in because he's never left the like states, or I can pay his like bills and he doesn't have to worry about anything but just to produce, you know. And one of my guys, they need a car right now. The other one wants to get a house. So those are our goals, is to get them a house and also get one of them a car, you know. So that's success to me. You know?
Being able to help the people around you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I have
dope.
no doubt in my
How about
mind.
you guys?
Y'all are gonna make that happen.
What's success?
Y'all gonna make that happen.
What's success to you guys? You know, I know both of you guys are agents right now.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point do you guys feel like, you know, I've hit the point where I'm here? You know, I'm.
Well, for me, family is really, really important. So I'm the oldest of 3, and my mom, she works really, really hard. So definitely retiring her, so where she doesn't have to go to work anymore. Being able to pay off my student loans and then my sister's student loans, because who likes paying those? It is stressful, but I think for me, when I get to a point where like my business or whatever I'm doing can like run itself, and I can take a literally, if I can take a vacation once a month for a week,
That's beautiful.
I've made it. Like, what else is there? Because I'm not a materialistic person, so I'm not like, oh, I gotta buy like all this designer stuff, or whatever. But if I can experience different cultures, if I can experience different parts of life, like travel, that's like I'm good. And I have a car that I like. I have a house that I want. I'm cool. Like, I don't need to have multiple anything. Like, I'm all right. I'm all right.
What car do you drive?
Okay, I drive a Tesla.
She doesn't drive. The car drives her.
I drive a Tesla.
Yeah, we drive.
Oh, you didn't see them roll up?
Oh, y'all both got Teslas. Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
One for both of y'all, and another one.
Well, I don't have a Tesla, but you know.
Yeah, you need to hop on that wave, man.
Hey, man,
How about you, man?
The charging, man, that's the crazy. But as far as success is concerned, I think I measure success similar to you two. Like, you know, retiring my mom. My dad, he retired from one job already.
Okay.
He, like, worked that job from 16 to like 43. So he retired. Now he's back at work just because he was 43. He
Ain't got two
lifetimes. You feel me? So I mean, I could say retire him, but I feel like that's not really what he wants because he tried that before, right? So I know one thing that he wants right now. He wants that Corvette, that C8.
Oh,
The
man.
new one?
Yeah, the new one. He wants that. So I think for me, I always measure success in levels, right? Because I don't think I take the Nipsey Hussle theory, right? It's not a destination; it's like a journey. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So I think, you know, maybe this year or next year we can put that in that. That's one level of success.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
A few
and
years later, you know, moms.
Every year you
Yeah,
can.
you know,
just keep
honestly,
leveling up.
honestly, I've realized that, you know, you got to invest in yourself first before you give up.
100%.
You know, so I think there's a lot of people, a lot of family that reach out to me, but there's power in saying no, because I can do more with the money than just giving it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's going to come back later on. So you have to be okay with just watching sometimes your friends and family suffer for the like meantime. You know, because if you keep giving out, you're not going to have that much for yourself anymore.
And they're not going to realize the value of it either. If they're like, oh, he's a piggy bank, I can go get it from him anytime. Like,
Yeah.
no.
100%.
Especially coming from where we from.
Africans.
You're not sending no money back home?
It's
Yeah,
nothing
Africans.
wrong with extending, you know, a
Right.
helping hand, but don't abuse it.
Advantage, and then use
Don't
the
abuse
and
it.
pull the family card. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Crazy.
Man, I don't have no experience, but I do want to go to Africa. I've been trying to
should.
go
Come
for like
through,
3
man.
years,
And
bro.
go.
Come through.
First time I went, funny story. First time I like literally planned the trip, we were gonna go to Ghana and Nigeria, right?
When was this?
This was
2018?
2018. Yeah,
Okay.
I was in a wedding though.
Okay.
And oddly enough, it was a wedding for a couple that was from Sierra Leone. It was my dean.
Okay.
And I was like, damn, I'm supposed to go to Africa. Now I'm in an African wedding. This is awesome. Whatever. I'll take the wedding. We'll double back on African trip.
Nah, that's cool. African weddings are definitely good.
Bro.
They are.
Wedding, if I get married, lucky lady. I'm gonna do it like that. We gotta have a traditional, then we can have an American wedding.
I got you.
So, Gio, what do you think success looks like for the Powerhouse Group?
Oh man, I think that's pretty pretty simple. I think we both talked about the group that we want to model ourselves after, kind of like in a way, not necessarily model ourselves, but that kind of like inspire us. The Makiti group. Yeah.
I know them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Like they do great business. They're cool people.
Right.
Like I've never met Mr. Makiti personally. I've met his wife, like, in passing. And I've met a few of his team members. And they are literally the perfect mix of success and humility.
Got it.
Like Mr. Mankiti's done business for a very long time. Still doing it, right? Now from what I can see, he's more or less like, he's not working in, he's working on his business. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once we get to that level, I think that's kind of where we're headed.
Facts.
Right?
So I guess that kind of goes into my next question. How important is it for you guys to diversify your business? I know you do TED Talks all the time on different things.
For us, we believe in diversification. Like we do real estate, we do transitional homes, we do invest in the business, and we also do cryptocurrency, and now we're doing art. So for us, it's mainly just looking at opportunities and investing in the people rather than investing in the business. And something such as COVID, right? If COVID would have slowed down real estate, we still had revenue coming in from other places, so we didn't have to fire our staff.
Yeah,
everybody was still getting paid. So we are always looking for that next opportunity, and we have to adapt to the market. Like we're in a virtual market, so we got to make sure that we're adapting to the Zoom world. I can't be doing things face to face, like I'm back in pre-COVID. So that's really what the important is to know when the big guys start doing it, you got to adjust. Like for us, we move when Facebook and Twitter is moving. Like when Facebook and Twitter say, hey, you can work from home forever. Hey guys, don't come back to the office.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys still have that office space?
Yeah,
okay.
I can work from home. He can. But I cannot work from home.
We can't. We got to be in the office.
We just got a new office.
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't work from home because I feel like my home is for me to just sleep.
I decompress from work.
Yeah.
At home. I can't
take the work home.
Yeah.
So even when, there was COVID and you can't come outside, bro, I'm leaving at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to go back to the office.
Right.
Because I love my office.
I mean, you're paying for it. You got to use it.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Okay, cool. I see your hats.
Yeah.
Yours, what does yours say?
Mine says cryptocurrency.
Wealthy by 30.
Wealthy by 30. Yeah. So what does that mean? I mean, you already said you invest in crypto.
Yeah.
But wealthy by 30, you trying to...
Yeah,
like...
We didn't mention that because you got the wealthy by 30.
I think for me, wealthy by 30, I don't really look at the number as a placeholder because I feel like I'm going to be wealthy regardless of age.
Right. Okay.
But I just put 30 as a placeholder there because that's my goal. I honestly want to get it done before I'm 30. And when I say wealthy, I mean being able to provide not only for myself, not only for my staff, but, for everybody else around me, being able to make an impact on their lives and knowing that the more wealth I have coming in, the more I'm able to bless other people.
Amen.
So that's kind of where that came from for me. And I think it's always going to stay 30, not 35.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 22.
All right, so you got a couple years left.
I got eight more to go. So
you got a lifetime.
yeah, lifetime. But for me, eight more to go to make that happen. So that's definitely the goal right now.
Yeah, and for me, like I'm really, into crypto.
Oh yeah,
it's digital money. I don't believe in paper money, and the idea of because as an African, when we send money back home, we have to pay additional fees, and sometimes it takes longer.
Yep.
But the idea of Bitcoin is when I send money through Bitcoin, the person gets it instantly, and I only pay like $3, right? So it's the fact that, and also people don't need bank accounts.
That's true.
Right. So
yeah.
People don't. The average person in like overseas don't have bank accounts or IDs.
They don't have addresses. Like they don't have none of that.
So I believe that crypto is going to be the future, and we're going to have one universal currency because the government keeps printing out money and is devaluing our dollar. And even now, like Miami is now accepting Bitcoin payments.
Yeah, I peeped that.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, I was like, yo, I can just put this next to it, like It's like, no, it's not like I will pay that.
Yeah, it's crazy, but you got to be like aware of the things that's going to come next. And I think for me as a visionary, I think like that. I'm interested in artificial intelligence, robots, and space travel and stuff like that.
So you love Elon Musk?
Yeah, that's my favorite entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, he's dope.
Really?
He is like the definition of a visionary. It was like, I want a self-driving car back in 2006.
Now, believe it
And
or
now
not,
it's happening.
in a few years, you're going to be able to edit your kids' genes.
Yeah.
Gene therapy. That's
crazy.
another science that's coming up.
I was gonna say they actually started doing it.
Yeah, they already started doing it. The company called CRISPR, you know,
Yeah.
they started doing that.
We also invest in gene therapy.
Oh, wow.
Just companies that do that, not necessarily it itself, but companies that focus on that. And, you know, next level innovation. That's kind of what we like to focus on.
So do you guys like trade in the stock market too, or is it just strictly
hobby.
crypto?
That's a hobby.
But
I
we
mean,
focus on real estate.
Got it. I mean, yeah,
estate.
because that's a whole nother realm in
man.
itself.
I like to see my money.
it's like, I mean, with play money, you know, with play money here and there, you know, you make a couple of plays in the market just to see how it turns out. But it's not something where, you know, I'm actively
Watching charts.
charts. You won't catch me with 15 different charts on my computer.
That's
It's like,
you catch me in 15 different houses. You know?
Okay, that's right.
not charts.
That's really where the bag is. I can flip this. I can rent this. I just wholesale this.
I think I feel
That's
feel
good.
what you're saying. You threw me off when you said you don't believe in paper money. I was like, dog, listen, I hate to snitch on myself, but I'm still a guy. Like, if I make, let's say I get a check for $2,000, at least $1,200 of that, I'm putting it in cash and putting it somewhere where I can't touch it every day. You know what I'm
But it's like your money is
because
not like
it's not like I'm like just gonna hold it there, but like I was taught like a different way of saving,
Got it.
right? Like I was taught like from my great grandparents, right? Take your money, save it when you get a significant amount of it or a certain
Pour it
dollar
back
value, take it and put it somewhere else to make more money with it. But if you just got like pennies or like, you know what I'm saying, a
Save
smaller
it.
value,
I said that
dollar
the-
values.
I said that the other day. It's like, you know, when the government keeps printing out money, it devalues the dollar. So
100%.
if you saved 20K last year and now bread and milk has gone up to $3, you're essentially losing money. So for me,
Purchasing
any type
power
of
went
money
down.
that I get, I store it either in a stock or cryptocurrency. All right. So I only have the amount of money that I need to survive a month in my bank account. And also that keeps my budget tight. If
Right.
my friends call me like, yo, like, let's go out. Bro, I ain't got no bread right now, bro. It's not working out.
Act poor, think
Act poor,
rich,
think
literally.
I talked about that on the first episode. I don't have nothing.
Nah, you don't.
I
don't?
just because you think I got it or you see me with it don't mean I got it.
Right,
It's not
right.
there.
It's not,
It's not there. Like
it's
don't
around.
don't pay attention to
Yeah.
the car.
But I
Don't
don't
pay
have
attention.
it.
Nope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't even have my money on me right now.
Yeah,
bro.
you know,
I don't
Somebody
have my
else
wallet in
got
my pocket, bro.
yeah, flashy things don't necessarily mean much to us. Like even though we're like driving a Tesla, it's for marketing, right? Because when we are charging our vehicles, we meet other people that are either
That
doing
is true.
business or doing something. And you know, by us charging our own vehicle, we met a guy with the largest liquor chains here in Maryland, like DC.
Also a guy with a trucking company.
And he didn't even know how to charge his vehicle. He asked us to help him charge his vehicle. We asked him, what does he do?
What do you do? Yeah.
And he's like, yo, I own liquor stores. Like, come through. So now we don't buy no other liquor outside of his liquor store. And if we need money, we just call him. Like, yo, we need this money for this project.
That's why relationships are so important. That networking.
is different. Yeah.
That networking. So, question. I guess the last question. We'll wrap up soon. What advice do you give for like prospective people trying to get into the industry? Whatever industry that is. Like
I say, I mean, for me personally, the advice I'll give is before you get into anything, you first want to define what game you're playing.
Yeah.
And once you define that game, you want to figure out what the rules are.
Okay.
And also from then on, knowing when, you know, you've had enough and when you can walk away. Once you figure those three things out, I think you can navigate anything you want to navigate. And also just being motivated and wanting it bad enough, man. A lot of people, you know, are social media entrepreneurs. A lot of people are, you know, fake doing it, you know, just for the gram or Twitter, whatever it is. So if you're going to go on your grind, man, actually go on your grind, you know, put your head down, put in the work. You know, it's, nothing out here is free. If you really want it, you got to put in the work for it. I mean, it all sounds cliche, but that's just facts.
It is facts.
You know, you're not going to get it out of nowhere. You know, you're going to have to work for it for real.
I think my advice to anybody that's looking to do anything is you really have to evaluate yourself first, you know, because, you know, if some people are just not built for this lifestyle, you know, this is not an overnight thing. This is, you know, crying. This is like losing 6 figures months and, you know, all types of, you know, not even being able to make your next rent payment. You know, like this, like you have to be willing to go through those lows to enjoy certain highs, you know, and even so that's the reason why, like, even now, if money does come in, it doesn't really mean much because we're humble.
Right.
The process made us humble, you know, so you have to evaluate whether or not that you're really, you know, this is something that you really want to do. And some people just, can't do it.
Yeah, no, it takes a different level. They think that it's cool,
you know, because they probably would see a check or whatever, but you know, this is something that you have to be disciplined in. Are you willing? You have to ask yourself, are you willing to do it?
Yep.
Without making any money?
It's that consistency, that discipline, like keeping yourself encouraged, because it's so easy. Like, it's so easy to see like other agents, other investors making all this money. It's like, well, dang, when's my next?
Yeah.
When am I up next?
You don't want to.
It's not overnight, you know. So I mean, and hopefully, like, we don't, you know, portray the like wrong message, you know, because sometimes we do. Like I said, like, we do post checks, but it's not to brag. It's mainly to, like, for me, it's mainly to influence the troubled youth, because that's how I grew up, you know. So I don't want my bros to think that, you know, selling drugs or doing illegal things is the only way to make money.
Right.
You know, I want to show them, like, yo, you can make money by not even knowing how to make money. Right. It's just understanding what you're putting your like money into. So, and also it's just to motivate other people, you know, because sometimes like you just will be scared to start. And, you know,
Starting is half the battle.
Yeah.
And you just have to just start in whatever passion you like want to do, whether it's lashes, weave, or just whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. You guys are definitely a big source of inspiration for me. Like, I see him and I'm like, yeah, I can do this shit too. Like, I can do it too. Yeah.
Even like how you guys like articulate yourself, right? Like, you can definitely tell, like, it's like an aura about y'all. Like, that's why, like, we were talking about what success looks like. Yeah. I don't see nothing stopping y'all from reaching whatever success looks like, appreciate whether that. You know, it's now or in the future, because, you know, your perception of success does change, because like I said, it's not like a destination, it's more like a journey, you know.
Sure.
So thank you guys so much for coming and being on this podcast. I think a lot of people are gonna. Y'all dropped so many gems, so many gems. I just learned a lot.
Like, I'm gonna go back and watch this. Like, oh, they did say.
Yeah. I mean, you guys' podcast is pretty lit. Like, people reach out to us all day, but there's I only would want to do things with people that are like me. You know, V used to go look at properties when I didn't have time. You know, you know, V definitely held us down a lot. You know, so just to have somebody that would sacrifice their time to try to make things work out for us, of course, we can't turn this down.
I appreciate it. Thanks,
the power plays, man.
Power plays.